So first things first, how are you?
Fine. I'm happy to be in Amsterdam today to present my new album project, which is very special to me, and I decided to probably accompany it even more than lots of my other projects in my life, because I had this idea to gather around me some artists linked directly or indirectly to the electronic scene from the past 4 decades. And in days where electronic music is everywhere, electronic music has no boundaries anymore, I wanted to collaborate for the first time in my life, and for the first time also for anyone, with people who are a source of inspiration to me. And in days where you have there is a kind of trend about featuring albums, where actually you send a file, SD card to the internet, you file to the internet, and then somebody is going to put a top line on top of what you've done, vocals, synth, guitar, whatever, and you will never meet with them, you will even never talk to them. And most of the time it's more for marketing reasons or name dropping or whatever, right, commercial reasons. And in my project it was the opposite. I really wanted to travel geographically to visit every collaborator I wanted to work with, starting with the kind of music I had in mind for them that I've composed, and then proposing them to collaborate and sharing the creative process physically together in the same place most of the time. And actually I've been surprised that everybody said yes, so I ended with more than 2 hours of music, and then I decided to a little bit like Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2 to separate the Electronica project in Electronica 1, Electronica 2. The first album is released in October 2015, and the second one April 2016.
Well, if we go back a little bit, do you remember when this idea first came into your mind?
I mean, I would like to say that this idea came step by step, because in my life, from time to time, I had people, I said, wow, I'm really admiring this act, and one day it would be great if you could collaborate. And then after a while, I had an old collection of fantasies in my mind. And I said, but why not doing, and that was probably 5 years ago, why not doing an album gathering my family, the family of people linked for different reasons to me and to electronic music. And for every collaborator there is a reason why, in terms of sound, in terms of music, and in terms of inspiration.
Was there... Who was the first name that immediately came into your mind to work with?
It's hard to say. I would say that very high in the wish list at very early stage, I would say people such as Moby and Air, Pete Townsend, Tangerine Dream, and M83 were probably the first one I thought to. But at a very early stage also I thought about John Carpenter, and David Lynch is on the other album, and obviously also Armin van Buuren was also at a very early stage in my mind, and we met in Los Angeles, and I always considered trance music as a very important genre of music, and I felt always close to it, and I always considered, in a sense, Armin like a young brother. Okay. I love him. I have lots of respect for him as the great musician, producer he is, and also as a human being. And you know, it's every city is linked with electronic music. It's true for Paris, for Berlin, for London, Bristol, New York, Detroit, Chicago, Los Angeles, and Amsterdam. And Amsterdam is, I mean, the biggest DJs in the world these days are from this country. And also in terms of instruments, one of my main instruments of all time is the eminent, the string machine, that has been invented, created in this country. And without the guy who invented in this country the eminent, the string machine, oxygen wouldn't exist. and so it's a real pleasure to have had the opportunity to mix DNAs with lots of different artists for different reasons, but they all have in common an instant recognizable touch, and also probably we all have the same organic approach to sound, and we are all obsessive geeks as well.
But when you started out making electronic music in the late 1960s, early 1970s, could you envision that electronic music would spread all over the world and would become that massive as it is now?
You know, when I started electronic music, it was in days where I was considered as an alien, because nobody was doing these kind of things. I had no reference, nobody was doing this before. But I always considered that electronic music would become the most popular way of doing music, because electronic music is not like a genre of music such as rock or punk or hip-hop. It's a new way of approaching music composition, music production, and even these days music distribution through the internet, with this idea that music is not only made of notes and based on solfeggio, it's made of sounds. And the difference between, I would say, noise and music is us, the musicians. And these days, every DJ is a sound designer. And another thing also is actually, I always thought that electronic music would become a massive genre and massive way of expressing yourself, because it's like cooking. You know, when a DJ is in front of his turntable, is like in front of an oven, I mean, cooking frequencies. I always consider that I'm cooking frequencies and dealing with spices which has waveforms and delays and compressors and sounds. And this is something what I always liked. The preconceived idea about electronic music most of the time is it's cold, robotic, and it's for me it's exactly the reverse. And it's organic. It's sensual, it's almost sexual. And our job is actually, and my job, I always consider my job is about making the air vibrating. And depending on how you make it vibrating, you can, people can be sad, be emotionally linked to what you do. They want to move until the end of the night. They can have sex. They can be bored. I mean, lots of different reactions, and it's always depending on a slightly different way of making, in an invisible way, making the air vibrating one way or another.